Hi, everyone, and welcome to your commentary for lesson number 35. My mind is a part of God's. I am very holy. So I love when Jesus really starts to talk to us very directly. And that's how I feel he's talking to us here. And that just goes with the first two sentences. Today's idea does not describe the way you see yourself now. Okay? So we don't see ourselves as very holy. We see ourselves as tiny little time space creatures, maybe in separate bodies, separate forms, separate from God, separate from one another, separate from the elements, separate from the animals, separate from the plants, separate from everything. It does, however, describe what vision will show you. So, what true vision will show us is that we are one. We are one with God. We are one with all things. It is difficult for anyone who thinks he is in this world to believe this of himself. In this world that we currently live in, it seems like everything is separate. It seems like, I'm over here, you're over there. I'm a male, maybe you're a female. It just seems like there's all this separation. Yet the reason he thinks he is in the world is because he does not believe it. So the reason that we think we're here is because we don't believe we're one. We still have this belief that we are separate from one another. You will believe that you are part of where you think you are. This is because you surround yourself with an environment you want. And you want it to protect the image of yourself that you have made. Bing, bing, bing. There's the ending bell. The only reason that we believe that we are in the world is because we are trying to protect the tiny little aspect, the personality self that we created. We're trying to keep that. And so we keep ourselves in a world full of separate things, full of separate items, separate people, separate genders, division, race, everything. We keep ourselves in this world because we are trying to protect this tiny little personality self, which isn't even the truth of who we are. It's just who we believe we are. And this lesson is helping us to unravel that and saying, I am not a body. I am not this personality. I am part of God. I am very holy. And that word holy simply means that which is divine, that which is God, that which is a part of God. You are a part of God. You are a natural aspect of the divine. You are an extension of the divine. So in turn, since God is very holy, you are very holy. Since God is only love, you are only love. And then it goes forward on to say the image is part of the environment. What you see while you believe you are here, or while you believe you are in it, are seen through the eyes of images. This is not vision. Images cannot see. Remember, we've talked about the body's eyes do not see. They report back what you believe. That's all they do. They just report back what you believe. So you believe there are separate bodies. You believe there is separate this. You are going to see that separateness. Then we really get into the next part, and it says, the idea for today presents a very different viewpoint of yourself. By establishing your source, it establishes your identity. And it describes you as you must really be in truth. We will use, okay, well, then it goes into the exercise, but it says we have now defined your source. And since we have defined your source, we have now defined your true identity. Your true identity is not this body, is not this personality. Your true identity is the divine child of God, is that divine extension, is part of that divine. And then, so, it goes throughout the exercise saying, and this is what I love, it doesn't matter if you start saying, okay, I'm going to name all the negative things I believe about myself. Then I'm going to name all the positives. So that way, God sees I'm really trying. It doesn't matter if you start with all the ego inflated things or you start with all the ego debased things. Both of them are ego perceptions. Both of them do not truly describe the truth of whom you are. And that's why it says, don't worry about the direction of your fantasies. Don't worry if you're like, oh, I'm going to go negative to positive or positive to negative. Doesn't matter. All that matters is that you remember, my mind is a part of God. I am very holy. So you go throughout the exercise saying, okay, I see myself as, as depressed. I see myself as virtuous. I see myself as helpless. I see myself as losing out. I see myself as victorious. And yet it still goes forward to say, you can pick any of these specifics. Don't see them as little, abstractions, but as, okay, I see myself as imposed on when my mom asked me to take out the trash. Well, I'm not imposed on, but that's, once again, seeing that situation, seeing that person, being like, hey, I feel this way, or I see myself imposed on because of this person, because of this situation, or I see myself as depressed because I didn't get this or I didn't get that. I see myself as helpless because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do it. So once again, just going over that. And then it says, just as often as possible to remember that my mind is a part of God's and I am very holy. We have to remember that. We have to instill that in our minds. And what you're going to notice throughout the reading of these lessons, you're going to notice one theme goes throughout, I believe it's 3 lessons, and I'm not 100%, but basically it says, I am spirit. I am not a body. I am free. I am still as God created me. And it says that in different ways to really help us to remember that. All right. So thank you so much for joining me for this commentary for lesson number 35. And I'll see you in the next lesson.